Okay, this is Dean. Dean is my training partner, but started out as my trainee. And Dean's a former power lifter, and muscle has memory. And Dean's got lots of muscle. Anyway, we thought some folks would like to hear Dean's story. Dean has he had some obstacles in his path, and he overcame them. And big obstacles, bigger than any of mine, and I've had many. But I'll just go ahead and let Dean go ahead and brief you. Go ahead, Dean. Take it away.
Well, Tim, I'm sorry, I have my speech is a little bit screwed up most of the time because I had a massive stroke in 2005. In 2005, I was 48 years old, and I didn't know I was going to have a stroke. Actually, I was getting ready to work out, and I was getting on a treadmill when I had it. And it took so many years for me to be able to actually be able to work out again. My first year, it took me 8 months. Every day I would go for therapy to speak and to get my balance back. And then after that, it was 2 years before I could drive again. During that time, it was a pretty tough time. And thank goodness, my wife and my family was helping me a lot. And I'd always lift weights, and I loved doing it, and I missed that terrible. During that time, I was at home, and I couldn't go to the gym because my balance and my brain was so fried, and also noises and lights bothered me really bad. I had what's called aphasia.
Right.
And I started getting somewhat better, and I was able to finally go back to the gym about a year and a half later.
Boy,
Before that,
bet you were happy. You were happy the first day you walked in that gym.
It was great.
Yeah.
The lights and the lights were a little better, but the noise was still bothering me a lot. Thank goodness I had a good.
Things we take for granted.
Yeah.
Bothered you.
And there was a lot of funny stuff that went through all of it, but at the end, I was able to be able to the gym again. And one thing, if you have a lot of problems with that from that I can't say the part.
Communicating?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a hard time for me. There's a lot of things I still can't say. But
right.
Anyway, I'm okay. But noises, if it bother you a lot, you can always put some plugs in your ears. And that's
right.
one thing even your doctors don't tell you that.
So you discovered that?
Yeah, but really my wife did. My wife's in, so thank goodness.
So that helped a lot?
Yes, a whole lot.
That's cool.
And I could actually go to the gym. My friend there owned a gym, and he would turn the music completely off when I was there. And
that was nice.
Gyms will do that, but
no.
But he would do it and he would tell everybody, that he was going to turn it off until I was done.
Wow, that's cool.
Which was a great thing.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of good things at the end of it. As far as working out, the first year, one thing, if you've had this type of a problem, you don't quit. You got to continue.
I don't quit.
I couldn't go to the gym, but I had some dumbbells at home, and my right side was still affected some, and I know that the muscles, they die really quick, and so I would take those dumbbells and I would sit in my chair, and I could do whatever I could do. If I could do dumbbells, and if I could lift them up, if I could. If I couldn't, then I would just use this arm and try to make it by itself. Even if you go through therapy. One thing about therapy, they'll work you really hard, but when you finish, the rest, you still got a hard work to do. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. Most people, at that point, they're done.
Yeah.
Well, you can't say you're done.
No.
Never.
No.
And no matter how tough it is, and it took me, it was hard. It was really hard. And there were a lot of times I wanted to quit. And I get so tired from when your brain is in that kind of problem in there, and it's trying to relearn everything. You've got to rest a lot too. And I would rest a lot, and then I would exercise a lot.
So you were determined.
I was completely determined.
Yeah.
And my doctors, said that no way could I do all the things I could do
Yeah.
now, but I do it, and I can do it.
Well, just to let you know, I'm pretty strong, and I'm a former power lifter too, and Dean outlifts me in just about everything right now, and it's amazing how strong he is, and he's kept a lot of muscle, and he's actually growing new muscle, and he's 60 years old. We're both 60, and so I guess, the moral of this story is, persevere. Never give up. Don't quit. It's easy to stop, and just give up. But I don't know. I think if more people who've had strokes had a strong enough desire, they could come a long way also. I bet you. Looking at seemingly impossible odds like you had, but you were able to come through. So, but that's because you were determined and you didn't quit. So it's kind of encouraging, I think, and hopefully if people see this video, if they have any questions, I'll relay them to you, Dean.
Thank you.
And maybe you could counsel or be of some help to people that have had strokes. And I've had shoulder injuries, and those are bad, but nothing like you went through. So you have my respect. And unless there's anything else you want to add to that,
Just never quit.
never quit.
Continue it. Use your family to help you.
Yes.
And let God to help you.
Yeah, and pray.
Because that's the
Keep
biggest
prayer.
part of
Yeah.
everything.
Absolutely.
There was a point in there I couldn't talk at all, and then I couldn't say my children's names or my wife's name.
It's frustrating.
Very
But mentally, you knew their names. You just couldn't get the words out, and that had to be very frustrating.
very frustrating. But what you got to do is you keep pushing,
Keep pushing, yeah.
and pray.
Yeah.
And sometimes you may not be able to talk to anybody, people. You talk to God about it.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk a little bit? I know a lot of people have heard of near-death experiences. People, and I've read books from operating room doctors who've compiled so many different cases of claims of near-death experiences. And you had a short one. You heard your grandmother. Your grandmother was welcoming you, pretty much, wasn't she?
Absolutely.
And that was her voice, and you knew that was Grandma.
I could hear both of my grandmothers. I had the stroke. I'd been in an ambulance. I don't remember anything in that part.
Right.
I got to the emergency room, and I woke up a little bit, and the doctors were working on me, and I could see the doctors, and I could see the nurses, and I was laying on the gurney.
Right.
But I couldn't hear them talking because I could hear other voices.
Yeah.
And I heard both of my grandmothers, both of them were talking to me.
Yeah.
And they said, they said, "You're coming home. You're coming home." And I knew I thought I was going to die.
You thought that was it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I heard another voice, and I still get chill bumps because when I talk about it. Because at that point, I could hear a man's voice, but the only voice I knew was Jesus.
Yes.
And he said, "There are other things you must do." And I was right there back on the gurney, and I was...
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've read a lot of different accounts, and that's very similar to a lot of things I've read. So you got a little glimpse. I mean, just a little one,
Yeah.
but you got a glimpse. So that's
couldn't see anything.
I couldn't see anything. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. Well, thanks for that interview, Dean. And like I said, if anybody has any questions, or if you know people that have had a stroke, Dean here says he's willing to talk and answer any questions that anybody has.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Dean.